Okay, I'm going to be real with you all right now because I genuinely did not think we were going to be back here this fast. I really didn't. I told myself, I said, you know what? Let's give it a week. Let's let the dust settle. Let's let everybody calm down. And then Claressa Shields walked into the breakfast club, sat down in that chair, looked directly into the camera, and opened her mouth. And the moment she did that, the very moment she started talking, I knew I had no choice. None. Because what she said in that interview is so disconnected from reality, so hilariously contradicted by every single receipt floating around on the internet right now, that I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't sit here and break this down piece by piece by piece. And listen, yes, I already see the comments from the Claressa defense force trying to flood my mentions. I see you, I notice you, and I don't care, not even a little bit. Because the truth doesn't need defending, and lies don't survive cross-examination. And that's exactly what we're about to do today, cross-examine every single word that came out of that woman's mouth. Now, before we get into it, and oh, we are absolutely getting into it, I need to tell you something that I probably shouldn't say on camera, but I'm going to say it anyway. There is a clip, and I'm not going to tell you exactly when it comes up, but there is a clip in this video that is going to make your jaw hit the floor. And it's not because it's shocking, it's because it proves everything we've been saying for months. Everything. And they didn't want you to see it. I was going to start this video off calm. I was going to be measured. I was going to be diplomatic. Just kidding. Absolutely not. Not today. Not with this level of audacity on display. So hold on, say it with me. You know how we do this. If you've been rocking with this channel, you already know. Now, let's talk about what they don't want you to see. Because in this video, we're going to break down Claressa's Breakfast Club sit-down and why it allegedly exposed more than it covered up. We're going to talk about how a man with reportedly $300,000 in IRS tax liens is allegedly paying somebody's mortgage, car note, car insurance, and plane tickets. We're going to address the 50-cent Ring camera situation and the Maserati butt allegations that have the internet absolutely combusting. We're going to examine how Remy Ma's receipts from over a year ago still haven't been disproven. And we're going to discuss why this entire narrative, all of it, is one of the most transparent sandcastles built on lies that hip-hop has ever seen. If you're ready to see all of this unfold, leave that like right now. Subscribe if you're new to the family, because from the Breakfast Club fiction, to the financial contradictions, to 50 Cent turning into an investigative journalist, to what this all means for the culture, we have so much to get into today. We cannot waste another second. There is too much to cover. Let's get into this right now. So here we go again. Like clockwork, Claressa Shields gets on a platform, says whatever she wants to say, the hosts nod along, nobody challenges anything, and then the internet has to do the actual journalism. That's the cycle. That's the merry-go-round of delusion we're on, and honestly, at this point, the horse on this carousel is tired. Even the horse is looking at Claressa like, ma'am, we've been going in circles. Because let's call these what they are. The commentator in the original source video, and I'm going to credit that man because he was speaking straight facts. He called them sit-ins. Not interviews, sit-ins. And I think that's the most accurate description I've heard in a long time. Because an interview implies that questions are being asked, challenged, pushed back on. That did not happen here. What happened was Claressa sat down, said things that are demonstrably, provably, documentedly contradicted by publicly available information, and everybody in that room, allegedly, just let it fly. Not Envy, not Charlemagne, not Jess, not London. Nobody pushed back. Nobody said, hold on, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. Nobody. And that's frustrating, because the audience deserves better than that. You deserve better than that. Clip break. Play Breakfast Club clip. Charlemagne asking Claressa about rumors that she takes care of Papoose financially, and Claressa's initial reaction of shock/denial. Now, I want you to pay attention to her face when that question gets asked. You see that? That little flash? That micro-expression? That right there, in my opinion, is the face of someone who was not prepared to have to lie about this specific topic on camera. Because the rest of the interview, she's relaxed, she's comfortable, she's in her element. But the second the financial question comes up, allegedly, the energy shifts. And here's what she said. She claimed, and I need to be very precise with this because the words matter. She claimed that Papoose pays her mortgage. She said Papoose pays her car insurance and her car note. She said she hasn't paid for a flight or a hotel inn. and I quote, "I don't know how long." She attributed all of this to Papoose, the man known legally as Shamil Mackey, who, according to multiple public records reports and investigative coverage, allegedly has over $300,000 in unpaid IRS tax liens dating back to 2012. That man is allegedly paying all of this. Clip break. Play Claressa's Breakfast Club quote, "Pap pays my mortgage. He pays my car insurance and my car note." Now, let me build the timeline for you because the timeline is absolutely devastating when you stack it up. In late 2024, Remy Ma goes public with accusations that Papoose is having an affair with Claressa. She leaks alleged text messages. She goes on Instagram Live. She puts the whole thing on Front Street. At that time, Remy and Papoose are publicly arguing about household bills. We have audio. We have clips. We have social media posts where they're going back and forth about who's paying the light bill, the cable bill, the basic utilities of their shared home. Remy said, and this is documented, that the utilities were still in her name, that she was still paying bills out of her account, that she had to bail Papoose out of situations financially. She said, and I quote from publicly available footage, "Every utility in that house to this day, right now, is under my name." Clip break. Play Remy Ma's clip. "I did nothing but take care of you. Every utility in that house to this day, right now, is under my name." Then in January 2026, Tasha K and multiple blogs surfaced public records allegedly showing Papoose with over $300,000 in IRS tax liens that reportedly date back over a decade. We're talking about a man who, according to these reports, has allegedly not resolved federal tax obligations for years. And if you put all of this together, the utility arguments, the IRS liens, the public financial distress, the $500,000 estimated net worth from every credible estimation outlet, the conclusion is, in my opinion, painfully obvious. There has allegedly never been a version of this story where Papoose is the one doing the financing. That's the nothing burger narrative. That's what I'm calling it. The nothing burger narrative. Because every time Claressa opens her mouth and tries to serve this up, all we get is a nothing burger. No meat, no substance, just bread and condiments of lies. And I'm going to use that phrase at least 3 more times because that's exactly what this is. Now, let me explain why her own words make her look worse, not better. And this is the part that really gets me, because I think she thought she was being clever. She thought that by saying, Papoose pays everything, she was dismantling the narrative that she's financing him. But think about what she actually said. She's telling us that a man who, according to public records, allegedly owes the IRS 6 figures, a man whose estimated net worth is reportedly around $500,000, a man who was publicly fighting with his then-wife over cable bills and light bills, is somehow comfortably paying her mortgage, her car note, her car insurance, her flights, and her hotel rooms. Where's the money coming from? And I mean that genuinely. Where? Because if Papoose is making money, by almost every account that's been discussed publicly, a significant portion of that income allegedly comes from his involvement in Claressa's career. He reportedly helped facilitate her deal with Win Records and Salida Promotions, that $8 million multi-fight deal that was announced in late 2025. She's publicly thanked him for his role. She's publicly credited him. He's been involved in her business operations. And in December 2025, Claressa herself reportedly clarified that Papoose is not technically her manager, but his involvement in her career infrastructure is something that has been repeatedly discussed by both of them on multiple platforms. So here's the logic that I want you to follow, because this is important. If Papoose's income, or a significant portion of it, is allegedly derived from his involvement in Claressa's career, and he is then using that income to pay Claressa's bills, then whose money is really paying those bills? It's circular. It's a financial merry-go-round. And the only person who seems to not see the circle is Claressa. It's like the Father's Day analogy. And I credit the original commentator for this because it's brilliant. It's like when mama gives the kids money to buy daddy a gift. The kids run up and say, "Happy Father's Day, look what I got you." But daddy knows, he knows, that mama funded the whole operation. The kids are choosing, but mama's doing. Same principle. Claressa's money is allegedly flowing to Papoose through various channels, and Papoose is then allegedly redirecting portions of it back toward her bills, and she's sitting on the Breakfast Club saying, he pays everything. That is, in my view, A nothing burger of the highest order. Nothing burger narrative. I told you it was coming back. Clip break. Play clip of Remy Ma. Why are you attaching yourself to this 47-year-old man that doesn't have anything going, has no career, no job, no income except for the income that he's claiming off of you? And Remy Ma, look, I know Remy is a controversial figure. I know she has her own issues. But on this specific point, the woman has been saying this for over a year and nobody has disproven it. Nobody. Not Claressa, not Papoose, not their PR team, not their lawyers, not anybody. Remy said this man didn't have anything. She said his only income was coming from what he was getting through Claressa. And based on everything that has come out since, the IRS liens, the financial records, the public arguments about bills, it appears that Remy was telling the truth this entire time. And I know that bothers some people. I know it does. But facts don't care about who you're rooting for. Now, the more you look at this situation, the more it unravels. And the more it unravels, the more you realize that this isn't just about who's paying whose bills. This is about a pattern of narrative construction, damage control, and, allegedly, a web of contradictions that would make a spider dizzy. Because let's talk about the evidence that exists beyond just the financial stuff. Let's talk about 50 Cent. Now, 50 Cent, and I say this with all due respect, has turned into the hip-hop FBI this year. The man is running a full investigative unit out of his Instagram account. Whether you love him or hate him, the man has been relentless in his coverage of this situation. And some of what he's put out there is genuinely devastating. In mid-March 2026, literally days ago as I'm recording this, 50 Cent posted on Instagram claiming that he had Ring camera footage of Claressa allegedly cheating on Papoose with his associate, Maserati Bud. He wrote, and this is a direct quote from the post, very handsome. Hey Pap, ask your old lady Claressa if she messing with Maserati Bud. Tell her to be honest because I have the Ring camera videos. Clip break. Show 50 Cent's Instagram post about Claressa and Maserati Bud. Now, Claressa denied this. She went on Instagram Live. She was heated. She was frustrated. She said Maserati Bud never smelled her. She started talking about suing 50 Cent for defamation. She's reportedly taken legal steps, including sending a cease and desist. And look, if she's innocent, more power to her. Seriously, if 50 Cent fabricated this, then she absolutely should pursue every legal remedy available. But here's the problem, and it's a big problem. Maserati Bud himself came forward. He allegedly shared messages. He allegedly provided his own version of events. According to reports from the Shadow League, Complex, and multiple other outlets, Maserati Bud has been publicly alleging that he and Claressa were involved. And just this week, as in this week, March 2026, there are reports that yet another man has allegedly come forward with FaceTime receipts from March 2026, contradicting Claressa's denials. Now, let me be absolutely clear. I am not presenting any of this as confirmed fact. These are allegations. These are claims being made by various parties. This is what the internet is buzzing about, and it's my job to talk about what's being discussed in the public discourse. But what I will say is this. The more people who allegedly come forward, the harder it becomes to maintain the position that everyone is lying except you. That's a difficult position to hold when it's one person's word against 2, 3, 4, 5 others. And this connects back to the financial narrative perfectly. Because if you follow the logic, and I'm just analyzing publicly available information here, the accusation has been that Claressa is allegedly financing Papoose. And in exchange, Papoose allegedly tolerates behavior that a man who was truly the financial provider wouldn't normally accept. That's the internet's theory. That's what people are alleging. And whether it's true or not, the conversation around it tells us something important about how power dynamics and relationships are perceived in the culture. Let me compare this to something everyone understands. You ever watch a video game launch, specifically a game that was hyped for years, but when it finally dropped, it was broken? Like, the game was glitching, the servers were crashing, the features that were promised weren't there? That's what this narrative feels like. Claressa and Papoose have been selling this Black Love 2.0 image. This concept that their relationship is this organic, beautiful, healthy partnership where a successful woman found a man who treats her right. That was the marketing campaign. That was the trailer. But now the game has launched, and every week there's a new bug, a new glitch, a new crash. The IRS liens were a bug. The 50 Cent accusations were a server crash. The Maserati butt allegations were a game-breaking exploit. And now she's sitting on the Breakfast Club doing a day one patch trying to fix all the glitches, and it's not working. And I know that Claressa can do no wrong crowd from Twitter and Instagram is going to come in here and try to say, "You're just hating. You're just jealous. She's a world champion. She has Olympic gold medals. How dare you?" And listen, I have never, not once, denied that Claressa Shields is one of the greatest female boxers of all time. She is two-time Olympic gold medalist, undisputed champion across multiple weight classes, 5-division world champion, the GWAT, as they call her. All of that is real. All of that is earned. All of that is impressive. But being great at boxing doesn't make you immune to scrutiny about your personal life when you're the one putting it in the public. She brought this to the public. She sat on the Breakfast Club and talked about it. She goes on Instagram Live and talks about it. She engages with bloggers about it. You cannot invite the public into your business and then get upset when the public has opinions about your business. That's not how this works. That has never been how this works. And let me address the flip, because this is the inversion strategy at work, and it's beautiful to watch in real time. Last year, the narrative from Claressa's camp was essentially, "Stop talking about our relationship. Mind your business. This is private." Okay, cool. Fine. I respect that. But now, in March 2026, Claressa is on the Breakfast Club volunteering financial information about who pays what and how. She's on Instagram showing birthday gifts, Chanel bags, Gucci bags allegedly worth $31,000, Louis Vuitton. She's literally inviting the scrutiny she claims to hate. You can't have it both ways. You absolutely cannot have it both ways. Either it's private and we all stay out of it, or it's public and we all get to talk about it. Pick a lane, champion. Pick a lane. And honestly, I'm a little tired talking about the financial contradictions. But listen, what comes next is even bigger. Because everything that is really important right now, in my opinion, centers around one person and one person only. And that's Remy Ma. Now, let me take a breath here because I want to be fair. I genuinely do. I think it's important to say, and I mean this sincerely, I do not enjoy watching families fall apart. I don't. There are children involved. There are real emotions. There is real pain on all sides of this. And I recognize that. As a human being who watches these situations unfold, there is a part of me that wishes everybody could just work it out, be healthy, and move forward. But that's not the reality we're in. And my job is to analyze the reality that exists, not the reality I wish existed. So let me tell you why Remy Ma's perspective matters in this conversation and why what she has said, going all the way back to December 2024, has been consistently validated by subsequent events. Because that's what's happening here. Almost every major claim Remy made has either been partially or fully corroborated by events that followed. And what she said in this newly resurfaced clip, and once again, here's what they didn't want you to see, absolutely changes the context of everything Claressa said on the Breakfast Club. Quote block, Remy Ma, via Instagram/public statements. I did nothing but take care of you. Every utility in that house to this day, right now, is under my name. The alarm company called me today. You talking all this money talk. You just paid a cable bill probably within the last 2 weeks out of my account. I had to bail you out of jail when you caught your case. When you had to pay the civil case and we backtracked it. Who account did that come from? Me. You didn't have a dime. Now, sit with that for a second. Really sit with it. Because if even half of what Remy is saying is accurate, and again, we're dealing with allegations from one side of a domestic dispute. But if even half is accurate, then the man who allegedly didn't have a dime, the man whose bail allegedly came from Remy's account, the man whose civil case payments allegedly came from Remy's finances, is the same man sitting on the Breakfast Club claiming he's paying Claressa's mortgage, car note, insurance, flights, and hotel rooms? How? How does that math work? I'm genuinely asking. Because I have tried to make this equation balance, and I cannot. And Remy added something else that I think is absolutely critical. She said, and I'm paraphrasing from her public statements here, that the reason their marriage was falling apart financially was because neither of them had sufficient income to maintain their lifestyle independently. She alleged that Papoose didn't have a dime. He alleged that she wasn't contributing. The common denominator, as has been pointed out, was mutual financial distress. And into that vacuum of financial distress walks Claressa Shields, a woman with a reported net worth between $5 million and $10 million, fresh off an $8 million multi-fight deal, with actual, verifiable, legitimate income. Quote block from public reports. Papoose's alleged $300,000 IRS tax lien. Tasha K/Public Records reporting, January 2026. Papoose, legally known as Shamil Mackey, allegedly owes over $300,000 in unpaid IRS tax liens, dating back to 2012. Records filed in New York suggest he has not paid federal taxes in over a decade. Now, you tell me, and this is an honest question I'm putting to the audience. Does a person with $300,000 in alleged IRS tax liens dating back over a decade sound like someone who is comfortably paying another person's mortgage, car note, insurance, and travel expenses? Does that sound right to you? Because it doesn't sound right to me. And it doesn't sound right to the internet. And it apparently didn't sound right to Remy Ma when she heard Claressa say it either, because reportedly, Remy has been having a field day with this entire interview. Let me connect the dots here because this is where the puzzle comes together. Claressa signs with Win Records and Salida Promotions for $8 million in late 2025. Papoose is reportedly involved in that deal. He's been publicly credited by Claressa. He was present at the signing. He was celebrated on camera saying, "I love you to death," at the press event. Now, Claressa has clarified that he's not technically her manager. Fine, but his proximity to her business operations, his role in her career infrastructure, his access to the business side of her life, all of that has been documented, discussed, and in many cases, celebrated by both of them publicly. So when we talk about where Papoose's money comes from, it appears, and I'm being very careful with my language here, it appears that a significant portion of his current financial situation is allegedly connected to and derived from his relationship with Claressa. Which means that when he pays her bills, even if he literally does, even if we take Claressa at her word completely, the money he's using to pay those bills allegedly originated from his involvement in her career. It's a circle. It's a financial Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. And she's on the Breakfast Club presenting it like it's a straight line. And this is where I need to zoom out for a second, because this is bigger than Claressa. This is bigger than Papoose. This is bigger than Remy. This is a cultural moment that I think tells us something really important about where we are in hip-hop and in entertainment in 2026. We are living in an era where the narrative is everything. The packaging is everything. The branding is everything. And what Claressa and Papoose have been attempting to build is a brand. The Black Love brand. The I found happiness after the storm brand. And listen, if it were real, if it were genuine, if the foundation were solid, I would be the first person to celebrate it. Genuinely. I love seeing people happy. I love seeing functional relationships. I love seeing people grow and evolve and find their person. But you cannot build a brand on a foundation of alleged contradictions, documented financial distress, public cheating allegations from multiple parties, and a woman who is reportedly still legally married to someone else's husband. That is not a foundation. That is quicksand. And every time Claressa goes on a platform and tries to build that sandcastle a little higher, every single time, the blogs, the receipts, the clips, the public records come in like a wave and wash it right back down. And there's a historical parallel here that I think is worth mentioning. Remember when we used to watch Love and Hip Hop and see Remy and Papoose presented as the gold standard of hip hop love? Remember when they were the couple that everyone pointed to and said, "That's what it looks like when you ride for your partner." Remy went to prison for 6 years and Papoose held it down. That was the story. That was the narrative. And then when that narrative crumbled, when the accusations started flying, when the infidelity allegations emerged, when the financial problems surfaced, it wasn't just a breakup. It was a betrayal of a cultural symbol. People felt lied to. People felt manipulated. People felt like they'd been sold a fairy tale that never existed. And now, we're watching the sequel. Except the sequel has even worse writing, even more plot holes, and the audience already knows how this movie ends because they've seen part 1. The more Claressa tries to sell this relationship as something pristine and organic, the more the audience pushes back, because the audience got burned before. The audience bought the Remy and Papoose dream, watched it crumble, and now you're asking them to buy the Claressa and Papoose dream with the same male lead? Come on now. Come on. The audience isn't dumb. This audience is not dumb. And what does it say about stan culture in 2026 that there are people in Claressa's comments right now, today, defending every single thing she says despite the mountain of publicly available contradictions? What does it say about us that we would rather defend someone we don't know than acknowledge facts we can verify? I think it says that parasocial attachment has gotten so deep, so embedded, that people will fight for a celebrity's lies like those lies are their own. And that's concerning. That is genuinely concerning. But on the other side of it, and this is where I want to be nuanced, I also understand that Claressa Shields is a woman who has been disrespected, undervalued, and underpaid for most of her career in a sport that historically does not invest in women the way it should. I get why she's defensive. I get why she doesn't want people in her business. I get why, when a man shows her attention and allegedly provides emotional support, she clings to that narrative. I'm not immune to empathy. I understand the human element. But the issue isn't whether Claressa deserves love. Of course she does. The issue is whether the narrative she's selling to the public matches the reality that's been documented. And right now, based on everything available, the IRS records, the Remy Ma receipts, the Maserati Bud allegations, the 50 Cent exposés, the financial analysis, the timeline contradictions, it appears that the narrative and the reality are in two completely different zip codes. And the more she talks, the more obvious it becomes. The more she sits down for these sit-ins at the Breakfast Club, the more material she provides for people to cross-reference and debunk. It's the Streisand effect in real time. The harder you try to suppress the truth, the louder the truth becomes. And this truth has a megaphone, a ring light, and a loyal internet audience. And I'm going to continue to stand firmly in that stance. Based on everything that has been publicly reported, publicly discussed, publicly documented, from Remy Ma's allegations in December 2024 to the IRS lien revelations in January 2026, to 50 Cent's Maserati Bud claims in March 2026, to Claressa's own Breakfast Club contradictions from this very week. The Nothing Burger narrative is exactly what it sounds like. There is, in my opinion, no version of this story that adds up the way Claressa is presenting it. None. Zero. And until someone, anyone, can explain to me how a man with $300,000 in alleged tax liens is comfortably financing another person's lifestyle while also arguing with his estranged wife about who paid the cable bill, I'm going to keep saying what I've been saying. The receipts are the receipts. The math is the math. And the Nothing Burger narrative is still a nothing burger. Honestly, between the Breakfast Club sit-in, the 50 Cent ring camera saga, the Maserati Bud allegations, the birthday gift flexing, the love song she allegedly dropped that the internet is roasting, and now reports that she accused Papoose of stealing $100,000 from her while he allegedly clapped back about her cheating with his friends. I am exhausted. This situation generates more content in a week than some entire beefs generate in a year. It's like a content factory. Every time I think we're done, there's another episode. It never ends with these two. It genuinely never ends. But we're going to break down the rest of this, including the 50 Cent legal battle, the $100,000 theft accusation, and what it means that Claressa is reportedly planning to have a baby with a man who is still legally married to Remy Ma very soon. We're going to cover all of that. Trust me. And if you want to see how 50 Cent has allegedly turned this entire situation into what might be his greatest trolling campaign since he bought front row seats to a Ja Rule concert, and why Maserati Bud's receipts might be the final nail in the sandcastle, check out the video on your end screen right now. Because what's happening in that chapter of this story is arguably even messier, even more chaotic, and even more devastating than what we covered today. And if you're part of the family, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.